Looks like a walking group. Yesterday I was running this camera and well, I did upload it eventually, but I had it on 2.7K, which is sort of intermediate setting, and 50 frames a second. And when I got to, before I got to Russup, it had overheated and shut down. I'm not exactly sure what had happened. There was quite an interesting diesel train going over the crossing, and it just started to record that, and then it appeared that was when it shut down, but I'm not entirely sure, because I thought it was on after that. I was toying with shutting it off, so it may have stopped recording before it actually shut down. Anyway, that was quite disappointing, because the time before I'd run it all the way down there on 2.725, which is a little less demanding, but it would have been a slightly warmer day most likely. I think we're going to get to be in a second, but it's going to be a bit tight this second ride. We got up there. The big cows, they're not tremendously fit. But one's bigger than the other. I'll make the best one will probably make about 1,200. I don't know. They are making big money actually at the moment, but they're both quite old. The old style checkbook like passports. Well, actually the oldest one is 2008, so she's 14 years old nearly, which did surprise me actually. But it doesn't surprise me because she had a calf about 18 months ago. Her calf's really big grown up heifer, bullock, sorry. It can't have been 18 months because it's a bullock. 13 months ago, and I think that was really pushing things a bit. Because last winter she looked absolutely terrible at death's door for a while. Anyway, it's just she has had problems with her feet on and off. They're not brilliant. And the other one, no problems with her feet. She's a bit younger, 10-year-old. In the summer she got mastitis, but in any case I wasn't going to keep her because she has her udder is sort of so big when she comes up to calving. It's about not hanging on the ground, but it's really low, so it was just going to be too much to have another calf out of her. It doesn't help for this camera that the windscreen is quite sort of mucky on the inside. I don't even know what that is. Be a bit better. It's sort of worse when the sun's hitting it. The one problem with going earlier is to get all the people whizzing off to work. So it's not that early. And they're relatively aggressive driving. Oh, look at that beautiful fog down there, sorry too. This is the sort of fog, I bet when you get to it, it disappears. As it were, it's still there, but it's only see it when you're looking obliquely across the top of it. But you won't be able to see it on this camera. Too distant. They're riding quite well, these cows. When they were going in, they were spinning round. and the trailer was wobbling about all over. I thought, blimey, I'm not looking forward to taking them, but they've just stood still. I hardly felt them move. They had been stood in it about 15 minutes because I loaded them and then went and had a bit of toast and tea and toast before I set up. Not much of a breakfast, but I didn't really want to start cooking bacon or something. It's not like you were going all day. I'll be back before 11, easily, I would think. One thing's for sure, the leaves have put on a good show this year. We have had, at home we had quite a strong wind yesterday, took a lot off. But down here they've been a bit more sheltered. I mean, look at these here. It is a lovely time of year really, but I always find it sort of depressing isn't the word, but you know, you're just thinking, oh God, weeks and weeks of, it's not really the cold of winter or even the wet, it's the low light. I hate the sort of overall lack of daylight, even though when you get a sunny day it can be a bit like this, so it's rather lovely, but you don't get that many, do you? And if you do get a sunny day, it's such a short period. But it's in no time at all. It's like February and days lengthening, and then it's March, and off you go again in the mad whirl. Empty road. This road is kind of relatively important A road. It's the A170, and that's because it takes all the traffic from the not all, but it's an important road from the A1 A19 from Thirsk to Scarborough, the sort of the west-east route, and Scarborough relatively large. It's not quite Blackpool, but it's a large resort, isn't it? So I said that the feature of that is that a lot of people all want to drive to it on the same days, like changeover days for holiday and bank holidays, things like that. So it's absolutely chocker on certain days of the year. And then when it's not that holiday period, shall we say, it's relatively sort of over-engineered for the amount of traffic it carries. A bit busy at like rush hour, going to school time and things. But there's, like along here it's quiet, but it does, even this time of year it gets quite busy on fine days, even weekdays. What's it? Oh. I had a bit of a brain fade moment this morning. I wanted to open the passenger side window because it was all covered in condensation, and it wouldn't work, so I thought, oh, it's a blooming fuse blown or something. And then I tried the rear window on that side, and that, I thought, oh, that wouldn't work either. Is it the left side fused separately or something? Because my side window was opening. And then I realised that there's a switch which is quite easy to accidentally bump on the by the window, which locks all the other windows up, or maybe it just locks them where they are. But anyway, it stops other people in the car playing with them, like kids mostly, because, well, you know, kids can be a bit irritating because you maybe don't think they're going to fall out, but they could start throwing things out or sticking their arms out and things. I think this crossing has some sort of intelligent feature where it doesn't stop the main road unless there's somebody waiting, but there is somebody waiting. You don't normally come through here at any speed. It feels a bit weird coming through it. 30, usually you're going to crawl the traffic through here. They've just, it would have been, last weekend would have been the war weekend thing, and I have no idea why they decided to cancel it way back in March. As a result, they said that the reason for it was the Ukraine conflict. Why the Ukraine conflict meant they had to cancel the war weekend 6 months in advance, I have no idea. That garage there, Bean Sheaf it's called, I think it still is, I don't know. They used to always have American cars parked out there. It was always nice to just look at them as you went past. Well, we used to sometimes get fuel there as well. You don't have fuel now, and you could stop and have a better look at them. Because whether you particularly like American cars or not, they're a sight to behold, aren't they? On the chrome and that. Because these are like, I'm talking like 60s and 70s cars. They weren't like 50s so much. There probably was some. Anyway, the classic, exceptionally chrome laden ones were from the 50s, weren't they? But the 60s had their moments. But even into the 70s, you had things like the Thunderbird. You know, anyway, there was some very more like muscle cars, you know, and even the sort of sedans. Sort of could be very low and sleek. I absolutely do not want one, but you've got to agree that they're very well, I think it's being unfair to call them a triumph of design or anything like that. On the other hand, they're sort of extreme. So they're over the top, aren't they, by modern standards? Especially all the chrome and the fins and things. You can't really see the fog here, can you? There is a sort of a light mist between the trees. Maybe it's a little bit worse towards the coast, or some more over towards Castle Howard way of look of it. And that's where the market was supposed to be. I don't know whether they retained the site for it. You see, I think some sort of skullduggery was going on to some extent, because the whole basis for getting that industrial estate there was that the market needed to leave the town centre site, and it needed a relatively large site for all the parking and everything else. And as a result, they remember to go which lane I'm in now. That's okay. I don't really like it though, it's because it's alright when you get used to it. think it's the same coming out, isn't it? It's supposed to increase the number of vehicles it can take. They changed it last spring, and to be perfectly honest, they were just doing it when I was coming at spring, and last time I came over it, I didn't realise I was supposed to be the late. It was too late to change. It didn't really matter because nobody else was on it. I think Old Malton's a lovely photogenic place, isn't it? These houses on the right there, look. Always have cars in front, and again, this is a beautiful time of year to be doing any photos of. And through this bit here, with the pub, is it called Royal Oak? Or just Oak. And then, of course, this truly stunning old church. It's so old, it's like it's been half of it's missing and things like that. It's sort of a bit threadbare. It was much bigger in the past, so it's been like reduced in size. I need to ring them this morning. I need to put in an order for some pellets to deliver later this week. I could have done it yesterday, really. I don't know what I was thinking about. Well, I just didn't want them to. Usually we ring them on the first Tuesday of the month, but I didn't really need them then. Because I'd picked up a few bits in the pickup. But then I was getting some more yesterday because I thought it might not last out the rest of this week. Because they might not come till even Friday, but usually if you ring them on the Monday or the Tuesday, they'll come Wednesday or Thursday. Now then, I think this is another intelligent one that gives you more time if there's an outcoming the other way. You aren't supposed to have to give way to oncoming, but there's one there. Maybe just arrived. Quite early actually, it's only 9:30, I think. I think he's going to try and go into the left-hand side bay, which I hate going to. I think I'll pull alongside there. Quite surprised doing that with no lights on, but everyone's being quite sensible.